Good evening, folks and fellow sports fanatics. This is Nunzi for the Angry Hacks Podcast, episode 41. Michael Hall, Ryan Stanley with me at my side. Not actually at my side. That would be great.
I wish.
But in the Google Hangouts room. Michael Hall, how are we doing this evening?
I wish we had a little podcast studio and we were all within striking distance of each other and do it together. But
yeah, well, I'm trying to formulate a plan together for a teleportation machine, but it's not going so well so far.
Figure that out.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Stan the man, what's up, man?
Not much. Just going day by day here.
Exactly. And guys, you know what's great about this podcast? Sports never sleeps.
Always something.
Always something. We're winding down in the football season, and it was kind of a fun weekend of football. I'm sure we all got to watch, all the games. There was only 4 of them. It was wild card weekend, the beginning of the football playoffs. And that, it started off with a bang Saturday at 4:15, where, to be honest with you guys, I really thought that was going to be just an absolute dud of a game before it began. And it started out with exactly how I thought it was going to go, where the Chiefs at home in the playoffs, just crazy atmosphere, crazy fans, just got off to just a raucous start. Corner the second half, and Tennessee ended up winning that game, where we all thought Tennessee had no business being in these playoffs, which I don't like. My head is just, I don't know what to feel about them still. I think Mariota played his ass off that second half and just kind of put that team on its back. And once again, Andy Reid in the playoffs just lays a huge egg. Somebody please comment on this game.
Well, they started the game, like you said, they started the game hitting on all cylinders. And it looked like they had a great game plan. And they did. They had a great game plan for 15 plays, 20 plays. And that game plan was gone. And it happened to coincide with Kelsey going out. And it was almost like, oh my gosh, Travis Kelsey's hurt. What do we do? They stopped running the ball with Hunt, which was stupid.
Yeah, that's big.
And I felt like it reminded me a little of the Falcons game. I said it to my wife in the first half. I said, they keep stopping the clock, throwing the deep balls downfield that are nowhere near completions, and they're just going for the jugular. And I understand going for the jugular, I do, but it's almost like they felt too comfortable with that lead, and they left their game plan. They didn't use their normal game plan, and this is something that's bit in Andy Reid and his big ass one in the past. And it's funny that it's just funny that he can't get out from under. This is like, what is this, five times in the playoffs this has happened to him?
Yeah, he's just shrinks in these big games. And you mentioned Hunt getting away from the running game. How many times did he do that in Philly? Like
they did it the whole year with Hunt.
He overthinks it seems like, Reid, as a play caller, and tries to get cute in playoff games when it's the worst time to do it.
Well, Mike, that's the other thing. Mike, the other thing is he stopped calling the plays the last few weeks of the regular season. Come playoff team, he takes it over again?
It's stupid.
So stupid.
Stupid.
And the last few weeks of the season, Hunt was running like he was at the beginning of the year. Kareem Hunt started the year awesome, right? Out of the gate, hitting on all cylinders. And then he hit this lull in the middle of the season where Andy Reid just didn't run him. And it was like, what are you doing? And they were losing games. And then he took the play calling away from himself and gave it to somebody else. And they started calling plays. And Hunt's then he's back on. And he's playing great. And they're winning again. And then the playoffs come and you take the play calling back. And then you don't give the ball to Hunt and you lose. Just so stupid. And coming at the end of the year, if I asked you without looking at anything, who won the rushing title for the season, I think everyone would have been like Todd Gurley, right? But it wasn't. It was Kareem Hunt.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That was a big thing. I wanted us to touch on too. Was the whole Kareem Hunt thing? Because I mean, I just don't understand it. First quarter he's got 6 rushes. He ends up scoring a touchdown, and he ends up the game with 11. 6 in the first quarter, then through 4, 11. It boggles my mind, and it all goes back to Andy Reid, like we've been talking about.
And they had a lead, Rye. They had a 21-3 lead, and they still didn't give him the ball.
Right. So when you're up 21-3, you think you run the ball more, kill some clock, possession, and it just didn't happen. And I think we can all agree that a lot of this loss needs to be on the shoulders of Andy Reid, most of it. So
I do agree. I mean, the Kelsey injury is unfortunate, but
of course.
I mean, if you remember, coming into the week, though, last week when we gave picks, I believe Michael Hall picked Tennessee.
Kinda.
It's just to go against the green.
Well, yeah, I said one of those AFC games would end in an upset, and I kind of leaned towards that one because of Andy Reid. And the fat man, I guess, proved me right.
Well, if you remember, I said the same thing, but I picked the other AFC game.
Yes, you did.
Right.
And
they had a chance.
They had a chance. And the one other thing that I said is that all 4 underdogs would cover, and they did.
Yes.
I screwed the pooch every week of the regular season giving picks.
Shouldn't screw pooches.
I was just waiting for the playoffs.
Waiting in the weeds, waiting to strike.
I'm 4-0. 4-0.
Look at you.
I'll be honest though. It was, thankful for Andy Reid and his crappy coaching in the second half because it actually was a pretty entertaining game.
Oh, it's great. And
I just got to say, I mean, that was a fumble. And you guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh, let's talk about this for a second.
First of all, how do you call forward progress? I was at a bar, so I couldn't hear. That's why I kept texting. What was going on? How is that not a fumble?
First of all, it was Jeff Triplett.
Yeah.
Now listen, Jeff Triplett, who hasn't officiated a playoff game since 2013. Why? Because he sucks. Now, why was he given a game this year? People were thinking because, I think it's pretty evident that he's retiring now. I've heard that. So people were kind of thinking, did the NFL really give him a game just kind of as like a going away gift, like, a parting gift? Well, here, do you have one more playoff game before you sail off into the sunset? And dude, the guy's horrible.
Yeah.
And still with these mashed up all-star crews.
All-star in quotes, because
right, yeah. Well, Triplett notwithstanding, because it's not like he graded out high or anything, but like they grade these guys out and they put together a crew for these playoff games, and these guys haven't worked with each other. I cannot believe they're still doing this. I mean, it's gotten so bad. I mean, the officiating was bad all weekend. I mean, the Titan-Chief game was bananas, and you mentioned that play, Nuns, where Mariota was almost killed on the field, just drilled, lost the ball, and somehow his forward progress was he was never going forward.
No,
he was sent backwards into another dimension. So, and that was a big spot of the game. Chiefs were up 14-0 early, right when that happened. Just absolutely crazy. So, Triplett and this ragtag group of guys. And like I said, it was all over the league. A couple things have to happen with this officiating. I don't know how they fix it, but they have to do something. Either, I mean, they have to. First of all, they have to stop with these, all-star crews in quotes for these playoff games. It's just not working. You have to grade an entire crew, and they get playoff games as a unit because they've been together all year long. And I think still one of the biggest problems is, the rule book needs to be cut in half because, and I've defended refs before and I still kind of do because there's so much to look for, so much stupid shit to look for, and rules that, they don't really know how to interpret 100% of the time because they're so, ridiculous. It's got to be hard. So for a playoff game to be officiated that poorly was a disgrace.
Yeah, I agree. And that was, like you said, that was the worst one. That Saturday night game I thought was going to be more exciting than the first game, but to be honest with you, it turned out to be more of a dud than that first game. And I mean, I don't know. The Falcons they controlled that game. They controlled that game, and their defense played really well. What's that, Roy?
I was going to say the whole Pharaoh Cooper thing did not help that he basically lost two possessions early in the game, and they never recovered.
Yeah. And stuff like that, that hurts. That hurts big time. Like you said, like you can't sometimes you can't recover from bad things like that.
You could see that game. You could just see playoff experience versus no playoff experience just won the game. Like it almost had that feel where it didn't matter how well the Falcons were playing or whatever it was. It just looked like they knew how to win a playoff game, and that's how they won it. To me, at least, like you could just see the experience factor have such a big impact to me. And I knew that going in that, it would play a factor. I just thought the Rams were that much more talented than the Falcons, just playing better. But man, the Falcons just looked like the seasoned, team that went to the Super Bowl last year. And, they kind of made easy work of the Rams, to be honest with you.
Yep. And, sometimes that experience in the playoffs is really, really important. Yeah. And I said it last week when we were making our picks. I did say it with somebody like Alex Smith over a guy like Mariota. And I mean, it was looking good in the beginning. I like that experience from the quarterback position too. And as much as Matt Ryan's having a rough season, he does still have that experience in the playoffs. And in this game, in this sense, it worked to their advantage, even being on the road. I mean, the Rams are a very young team. And it looked like they weren't ready. They weren't ready for this game, weren't ready for this Falcons team. And that makes the Falcons pretty dangerous going forward, I believe, guys. I don't know about you.
Well, yeah, their defense plays like that. I mean, I think their defense was the story of that game. It's not like, the Falcons offense wasn't, they weren't super dynamic, explosive, like kind of stuff we saw last year. They were good enough. But that defense, man, I mean, they're still very young defense, very fast. I mean, they have speed to burn at every single level of that defense, especially the linebackers. And they were ready. They were ready for Gurley. They were ready for Woods. They made it tough for Goff. I thought Goff played okay for his first playoff game. He made some really nice throws, but I don't think it was too big for him, but the Falcons made it really tough on him. And that defense, man, if they play like that, they can make a run for sure.
Yeah, and then Sunday, you had the Jags-Bills in that early 1:00 game, and before that game even started, I had that feeling that it was going to be the lowest scoring game out of the 4 games, and that didn't disappoint. It was super boring. I was at a bar here, guys, watching it with a buddy, and they actually, they have DirecTV, and it turned off. The game turned off, and DirecTV had like this big message saying, "Don't call." That was the first thing that it said was, "Don't call us. We are, trying to resolve this problem." I love how they put that. Don't call us first. Yeah, because they know they'd get about like 30,000 calls because people are getting disrupted during a playoff game. So that was kind of a downer, but it happened everywhere. It wasn't just at the bar that I was at. It was at a couple of bars that had DirecTV, so we hopped over to a different one that didn't have DirecTV. But I don't know. Back to the game. It was Blake Bortles is he's a train wreck. It's just a train wreck. It's bad. It's bad. And Tyrod Taylor, not too much better, if any. I mean, I don't know. What did you guys think of this game? I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to say, but
Well, I'm pissed off at us for not taking our life savings and putting it on the under.
yeah.
Like you said, Rye, coming into the game, I'm like, who's going to score here? And then, like, you're iffy on McCoy. And you're like, is McCoy going to play? Like, and then you find out he's going to play. Okay, all right, maybe Buffalo can do something. And McCoy actually played well. Like, he played okay against the
Yeah, he did.
And he was like one of their offensive bright spots because, like you said, Tyrod Taylor, what was that? Blake Bortles, what was that? And then at the end, when Jay Peterman comes in the game, the whole catalog itself comes in the game. I'm like, wouldn't it be something if this guy could like win this game for Buffalo and then it's an interception like 1 second later?
Yeah. Nope.
And it was just a terrible game to watch. It was, I watched it. I mean, the only thing that made it okay to watch was that it was close. Like at least it was close. It was like a pitcher's duel.
And if you like defense, I mean, I guess. But Blake Bortles, he can't complete a check down to a running back.
Yeah, I know.
Like
that was the worst.
Like a swing, someone slips out into the flat and he's wide open. He missed like 3 of those.
In the Water Boy, when he's kicking off and he's looking for the guy to kick to, like the one that's like shitting his pants or the one crying.
Yeah.
That's what Bortles looked like in the game.
Yeah, there's my bitch.
There's
yeah,
my
exactly.
bitch.
He just looked like this was too big a spot for him. That's what it looked like. Like he just felt like I know he sucks, formed well at times this year, but it's all a mirage. This guy really does suck.
Listen, I think I told you guys my 3-year theory. By the 3rd year, you know what you have. And you know exactly what Blake Bortles is at this point. Now, hey, he ran for, 87 yards?
Yeah, more rushing yards than passing yards.
How about that? But, yeah, I mean, holy shit. And Tyrod Taylor, who took a nasty – his head hitting the turf at the end while he left the game, I mean, that was bad looking. And real quick, while I bring that up, I just saw something a little earlier. Brett Favre is producing a documentary on concussions, and it's a little bit about his career, but they kind of focus on like some current high school athletes, and he interviews some kids and athletes at different levels of competition, and about how I think it really focuses on the playing surface, because they say a large percentage of these concussions are your head hitting the turf, not your head hitting another head. So I thought it was an interesting way to think about it, because all the stuff they do with helmets and this and that. But I think talking about changing playing surfaces is something they're kind of promoting to kind of help with concussions, and that just talking about Taylor's head smacking the ground made me think of that. So I gotta look out for that. I'm not sure when it's coming out or when it's going to be on, but I gotta keep an eye out for that. But
that's interesting, Mike.
I read that and I thought it'd be pretty cool to watch.
I'll definitely tune in because like the playing surface is a big deal because no one's really playing on a sod field anymore like they used to, where it's like deep grass that has a lot of dirt underneath and it's soft because the players would slip and slide all over the place, right?
Right.
But if this is geared towards changing it for high schools, I mean, they should be playing on a lot of them playing on softer surfaces. But now a lot of these high schools just putting in $1 million fields to play on these other surfaces, and now they're going to turn out that this is part of the problem.
It could be.
Because it costs too much money for these local high schools and stuff like that.
Yeah, it should be interesting. But Taylor, watching that game, Taylor threw a bunch of deep balls and didn't hit on one, and Bortles threw about 16, swing passes and couldn't hit one. It was pretty horrible.
If you're into offense, it was very, very rough to watch.
That set offense back 10 years, that game.
I'm telling you, when you're in a bar too, and you have guys that are fans of teams, and you see guys miss passes like that. Oh my God, they erupt. It happens so often.
Horrible.
It
In a
happens so
playoff
often.
game where every single play is so big, and you
Yeah.
got like a 3rd and 4, and a guy's wide open in the flat. A fullback slips out in the flat. He's wide open. And your quarterback can't hit him for an easy first down. It's horrible.
Yeah, it was funny because the game was at like 3-0 early on, and I'm looking at my buddy. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, this game's gonna end 10-3. I said it early too. It's gonna be probably like 10-3. He's like 10-3. How about 6-3? I'm like, yeah, maybe.
How about 3-0?
Yeah, exactly. So that was a rough one. The second game kind of made up for it. It was pretty entertaining as well. And you kind of figured it would be a little divisional matchup between the Saints and the Panthers. Very close game. And the funny thing about this one, guys, Saints winning 31-26, but all year that team has been predicated on that run game, that two-headed run game.
Yeah.
And they didn't run the ball well.
No.
Drew Brees was awesome. He was back to the vintage Drew Brees. And he was fun to watch right from that get-go, from that 80-yard bomb to Ted Ginn Jr., boys.
Oh, yeah. That was the old Saint Dome show there. And listen, it doesn't really shock you in hindsight, I guess, with against the Panthers defense. That's tough to run on. I mean, it's tough to do anything on, but I mean, Peyton and Breeze early on, you could see they liked the matchups they were getting on the outside with the receivers, and they just kept chucking it around because it was working. It worked all game.
Yeah, they get right.
I think that part of that was their game plan. We talked all year, and I know it's hard to leave a guy like Breeze and say that he's done. He can't throw the ball downfield anymore. I mean, they won this year, but he didn't throw the ball downfield as much.
No,
they made it a point to make it happen early in this game. Be like, hey, he can still do it. This is a threat now, and you need to be worried about this again. I'm sure they were worried about it anyway, but I think that really hit home and got in the Panthers' heads because, like you said, he threw the ball all around the field to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it was vintage. It was vintage Breeze, and it was fun to watch. As much as I don't want him to win another Super Bowl because I just don't. It was fun to watch.
Why don't you want him to win?
Yeah, why don't you want him to win another one?
It's selfish reasons because I don't want to have two like Eli.
God, Rye. I really don't. I like the guy, so if he won, I'd be all for it, to be honest with you.
Well, look at the 7 other quarterbacks remaining. Who do you want to get one?
That's true. Maybe Breeze can win it.
Bortles. Not happening.
Oh, God. Well, I know you don't want Roethlisberger to overtake Eli, right?
Right.
Breeze win than Roethlisberger.
Right.
How about this? Would you rather Brady or Roethlisberger?
Oh,
Brady.
No,
incorrect. That's the wrong answer,
dude. No way. That's the Patriots winning. Come on.
No,
yeah,
sorry.
But I still want Eli to be the only one to beat him in the big game. Oh, actually, but if Roethlisberger wins, they wouldn't have beat him in the Super Bowl, so I guess that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be in the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's got to be in the Super Bowl. No, I mean, I like Breeze, and he's had a great career. And, he almost threw for 400 yards, too. So.
And Cam Newton lost.
Yeah, Mike, I know you like that, even though he's on your fantasy team this year.
Yeah, well, I didn't mean to draft him, if you remember that.
That's right. That's right.
But, you know what? He helped me have a very good season, but I still hate that guy. What a
yeah, how about that play at the end when he was called for grounding and he was really just sitting there complaining and bitching the whole time about it.
So was Rivera. I mean,
yeah,
and
they all were.
I think you know why. And I heard Greg Olson's locker room after the game. He was telling reporters that all the other refs, some of the other officials saw it differently. Saw that maybe Newton might have been out of the pocket. It wasn't as clear cut as I think Correnti was the head ref. saw it, and Correnti wasn't having it. He saw what he saw, and he was sticking with it.
Mm.
And I think a lot of the Panthers guys were arguing that, hey, you need help on that play, get help. They're telling you he was out of the pocket, blah, blah, blah. And Correnti said, no, he was in the pocket, so it's grounding. So, good for Correnti. He's the head ref. It's
exactly. And there goes back to the old all-star teams. He doesn't have his team that he's comfortable working with.
Right.
But good for him, like you said.
Right. There's a trust factor that's lost.
Exactly.
Nice.
You look at the replay, and it looked like he was in the pocket. So I think he made the right call.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Oh, he was in the pocket. Yeah. Absolutely.
Cam Newton go fuck himself, and he, dresses like Otis Orville Redenbacher after the game.
I thought you were going to say Otis Redding.
I don't know what I was about to say. I was trying to get it right. The popcorn guy.
What's wrong with Otis Redding? I love Otis Redding.
I love Otis Redding. There's nothing wrong with Otis Redding. There's something wrong with Cam Newton dressing like Orville Redenbacher after football games. He looks like one of those old carnival hype men, back in the 30s. Like, come on in to the with those hats.
Your number one horse here. Your number two horse. Get the water in the clown mouth. Get the water in the clown mouth.
That's what he aspires to be. Idiot.
Yeah, he does it for attention. I mean, seriously.
That kid's banged up.
He is. He's banged up. Well, he thinks he's shit don't stink. That's why he's that's why we always have a problem with him. It's just can't be like a normal human being.
No. Absolutely. Well, he's out of the playoffs, so good.
Yeah, he's out of the playoffs. That puts us down to what? 8 more teams? Is that it?
8 left. Here come the big boys. Here come the bye teams.
Here come the bye teams. And I think we can all agree now that we're down to those last 8 teams and the bye teams. The big 2 are in the AFC. I'm sorry, the AFC with the Patriots and the Steelers. Looking really good to move on. And then you got your Philadelphia Eagles, who had the best season of them all, but lost their franchise quarterback for the season. And then you got your Vikings, who ended the season with the best overall defense, and a little resurgence by Case Keenum. So it's going to be interesting. Saturday starts us off with Atlanta, Philly, which I am going to be glued to the TV. Rye, you're going to be watching that too. You got to be watching it because we're watching for one thing, Ryan Stanley, the Philadelphia Eagles to what?
To die.
Well, I wasn't going that extreme.
I'm just kidding. To lose as bad as it could be. To get blown out. To get their doors blown off.
At home, too.
Let's go, Matty Ice. I hate you. I can't even believe I just said Matty Ice, but let's go, baby.
Well,
terrible.
Well, let's look at this game now. Atlanta coming off a really nice win on the road. Sometimes when these teams get into the playoffs, they kind of limp in, or they're one of the 5th or the 6th seed, and they have that big win in the wild card that kind of propels them. And both of us know that feeling, Packers and Giants fans.
Oh yeah.
And it's a good feeling. And football is all about momentum, especially going through the playoffs. So they have it right now. Big win against a Rams team that really came out of nowhere this year and really overachieved. And we didn't think they were going to be this good young team. And the Falcons took that, experience and ran with it. So this is going to be interesting. At Philly, tough place to play. I know it is. Hate those fans with a passion. But it's Nick Foles, guys. So can Atlanta put up that defensive performance, Mike, like they did last weekend?
Well, I think they can. But I think this is such an interesting game. I mean, you have a 1 seed as an underdog before they played a game. It's crazy. I mean, you figure Carson Wentz is worth about 7 or 8 points, because if he was in this game, they'd probably be favored by 4 or 5, something like that. Maybe, closer to a touchdown.
Yeah.
But listen, you can't discount the Eagles here. I know the Falcons, obviously favored, and everyone's kind of on them. But remember, this is the same Falcon team that sucked not too long ago. So do we all of a sudden love the Falcons? Or maybe we should. Or is this the team that they should have been all year? Have they finally clicked? Or, I don't want to use the word lucky, but is it something kind of fluky? Who are they? That's what I want to know, because they're going on the road to Philly to play the 1 seed. Yeah, it's Nick Foles, but we mentioned Nick Foles is one of the better backups in the league.
Yeah,
this guy is capable of winning a playoff game, I would believe, with still a very good defense, a pretty good running game. So, don't count the Eagles out here.
You can't count anybody out, but the thing is and I think we all agree, Foles is a good backup, right?
Yes.
And he won a game this year against the Giants where he put up crazy good numbers. But let me just remind people, against the New York Giants, who were probably, it was the worst they've ever been, ever, and one of the worst defenses I've ever seen in my life, that he did that well in. And the next week, he sucked.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you can't jump at, it's only 1 game, but he looked so bad that I can't trust him at all. I can't trust
It was against a bad defense too, right?
Right. So, and then I honestly don't remember what happened in week 17, but they rested guys.
Yeah.
They didn't play everybody.
They lost 3-0 to the Cowboys, I think, or something like 6-0.
Okay.
6-0.
Right. That's exactly right. And I hate that. I hate when teams rest that last week of the year. I understand why they do it, but I just don't like that. I think that's part of the reason with the Rams losing to the Falcons. I do think that was part of the reason.
Good point.
You have all this energy, and you're working your ass off all season. You're giving it 110%. And then week 17 comes, and you're kind of like, oh, it's okay if we lose this. We bench our starters. We play these other guys. And not to say they're not giving it all, but you're basically you're okay if you lose the game. It's just a bad message. And I know it shouldn't matter much, but I feel like it does. And that week 17 loss to the Cowboys, thank you for reminding me, we're getting shut out after having such a terrible game week 16. You're coming off 2 really bad games, and the only good performance you had all year is against the worst defense in football. I just don't love it. So that's why everyone's down on the Eagles, and I understand it. And I don't think I love the Falcons, but I really don't like the Eagles. And, their defense is good, but you can throw on them. And I feel like Julio Jones could have a field day out there this week.
He could. We'll see. The Eagles, their best pass defense is their pass rush. We know they don't cover well, but they can get after the quarterback. They really, really can. They're going to have to. And Stan, you mentioned, benching or, kind of sitting guys week 17. It happened to the Packers. You guys remember that game? The 15-1 Packers, who didn't really play a meaningful football game from like Thanksgiving on. Then sit Rodgers and about 13 other starters week 17 when Matt Flynn went bananas against the Lions in the snow.
No, that's right.
That got him money that he still has today. And you saw what happened. So it is a big deal. And I think it did have a big impact on the Rams, especially a young team like that. You just got to keep playing. But I don't really trust Nick Foles either. But I don't think he has to go win this game. Okay. I don't think Nick Foles has to throw for 400 yards for the Eagles to win this game. They have to run the ball. And I think they can. But the Eagles defense, that they're opportunistic, but they have to get after Ryan, and they're gonna have to take the ball away. But I think the Eagles can win this game with Nick Foles not playing that well.
Interesting.
I disagree. I think Foles has to play well to win the game.
You don't think the Eagles can win a game like 17-14 with, 2 rushing touchdowns, one from Blunt, one from Ajayi, and Foles going like 15 for 25 for like 150 yards and a pick?
Well, it is interesting you mentioned Blunt, okay, because he's performed well in the postseason before, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's done well in the playoffs, and split carry, team that they even run it with other guys. That guy Clement, right? He gets some carry, he gets touches. They get touches from like 4 backs.
Yeah.
Now, what are they going to do here? Like, I really don't know. I think they're unsure what they're going to do. I mean, they know now, but like coming in, are they going to split carries down the middle between Ajayi and Blunt? Are they going to? Do they have time to figure out who's running well?
Yeah, sometimes you go with the hot hand when the game is just being played.
Right. I think in a perfect world for them, it would be Ajayi and Blunt's kind of your fourth quarter closer.
Yeah.
Obviously, you need a lead, and the game has to kind of play out that way. But I think that's the way they would like to play it, and I think they would want Foles to throw the ball no more than 20 times. But like you said, Julio Jones and crew. I mean, if the Falcons come out and are clicking through the air and on the ground, I mean, the offense is still pretty stacked, as much as they struggled at times this year. If the Eagles have to chase them, then I think it's good night Philly.
Right. My one thing too, like if I'm on the Eagles or an Eagles fan, my big thing is we are the #1 freaking seed. We're getting 3 goddamn points. No one thinks we're gonna win shit. We gotta go at I play that whole card.
Oh yeah.
And that does give them a lot. So I guess for that reason, I say, of course they're in the game. It's that's why you play the game, right? But that's the card I'd be playing.
I agree.
No, good point. Let me go back to the Falcons really quick. For me, it's eerily. For me, it's eerily. I'm thinking about like just past teams like we were talking about. Like a team like the Giants and the Packers just playing well at the end, kind of getting in. Remember that Giants, that 2011 team, Rye? We won the division at 9-7, had to beat the Cowboys in week 17 to win that division and get in. That team had stretches over that season that were just abysmal. They kind of limped in.
Yeah, the Redskin game.
Yeah, I know. They get the home playoff game in the wild card, and then their defense just comes alive. They destroyed the Falcons, give up 2 points in that game, and then they just go on this little run. So it's kind of eerily scary right now, this Falcons team, because I'm kind of getting that vibe from them. Them not playing well for a while in that season. Maybe it was just like a really, really long hangover.
Yeah, right.
From the Super Bowl, like a blackout, like we blacked out. We took like 12 shots of Southern Comfort the night before.
They're still on the sideline with Arthur Blank.
Yeah,
yeah, chugging Powerades to get the electrolytes back. So
the 4-day hangover.
Exactly. Maybe it's just one of those late kind of, late hangover, Super Bowl hangovers where they're just starting to get going now. And I'm telling you, a team like this, I'm envisioning it. I would not be shocked if they can make it back to the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think it's going to happen, but who am I to say that?
Maybe.
Because crazier things have happened in the playoffs, especially in the NFL.
It's a really good point. That makes them a very dangerous team. Because we say it all the time, it's not the best team, it's the hottest team, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
right. They are clearly one of the hotter teams right now, and it could be a little bit of both. Maybe they're still one of the best teams.
Right.
Like I said before, maybe this is the team they should have been all year. They should have won the Super Bowl last year.
Yes, they should have.
So that combined with kind of this kind of kicked to the curb because they sucked early and now they're the hot team. I mean, that could be a really, really good combination for them. Bad for everyone else.
Let me just interject really quick, Ryan Stanley. Breaking news: the Mets just signed Jay Bruce to a 3-year, $39 million deal.
Bruce,
Really?
Yes.
Ken Rosenthal reporting, so you know it's true.
Wait. Hold on, Ryan. Repeat that.
3 years, $39 million. Jay Bruce, New York Mets.
That's a bargain.
Yes. Can we let's put that on the back burner for a second and let's talk about that when we get to baseball. How about that?
All right, but I'm actually smiling, but okay.
Good. No, me too.
Ear to
Me
ear.
too. But I just saw that. So I just wanted to tell you, but really quick, we'll put that on the back burner. It's there. It's burning. It's on the stove.
There.
The water's boiling. We're going to put the pasta in a little bit. Hold on.
Simmering away.
Okay. So let's go back to this game really quick. Let's make a pick. We'll just make a straight up pick. And then if you want to do the line, you can. The line was Atlanta -3. For me, I just talked about the Falcons and what I think they can be and what I think they're doing right now. The things they're doing right now, I like. Great win last week, a real statement win, especially for that defense. The defense plays like that against Philly. Good night, Philadelphia. And I'm not just saying this because I hate Philadelphia and I want to see them lose. I think the Falcons will win. Although I think the Eagles will cover that. I think it's going to be a 1-point game, to be honest with you. Who wants to go next?
Ooh.
I got it because I'm with you on Atlanta winning. But if I was a gambling man and that you get props for the point differential, I'm going Atlanta anywhere from 8 to 13-point win.
Wow.
You do that at Caesars. Caesars loves those.
Yeah, and you get good odds there, and I think that's a good bet. We should check what the odds are, but I go like 8 to 13.
Look at you. Give me Philly to win outright and obviously cover. I think, listen, it's a very tricky game for them, despite all the things we said. But I think, like I said, a key for Philly is getting after Matt Ryan. And I think one thing that a rested team should be able to do is have a lot of energy rushing the passer. You would think so, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got guys that can rush all day and do not quit. So I'm going to bank on that. Ryan faces a lot of pressure, kind of gets out of what they want to do. Philly can take the ball away a couple times, control the clock on offense, and come away with a win at home. Give me the Eagles.
Okay. Saturday night game, Tennessee at New England. I don't think we need to spend too much time. Tennessee had no business being in the playoffs. They somehow come back and win against the Chiefs. I think they just kind of blew their load a little bit. And they're on cloud 9 right now. I think that gas runs out. New England's going to destroy them.
Destroy.
I don't buy this whole rift between Belichick and Brady and I just don't buy it. No. I think it's just a media stunt, a publicity stunt. I think it's bullshit, to be honest with you. I wish it was real, but I think they're just going to absolutely destroy them. 13.5. I think they win by like 3 touchdowns. New England.
Say all that shit was true. What the fuck difference would it make?
Right. Exactly.
None.
So say Belichick and Brady and Kraft are all in this triangle of hate. Like they all, like each guy can't stand the other two. So what is Belichick going to say? Well, I'm going to coach like shit on purpose to stick it to Tom Brady. And Tom Brady's like, well, I'm going to throw 5 picks on purpose because I hate. Get the fuck out of here. They'd probably win by 8 touchdowns if they really hated each other, just to take it out on someone else. So it doesn't even matter. I mean, I'm with you. I think it's all hogwash. But yeah, New England. Like, is there any in any universe can Tennessee even keep this close?
You play this game 100 times, maybe they win 1.
And the other 99, New England wins by 60.
Maybe.
Right. Well, if Mariota throws another touchdown pass to himself, watch out.
Oh, my God. If Mariota throws another touchdown pass to himself, I might take the Brinks truck. Let's see. Because it's just like there's another being at work there. It'd be like Al from freaking Angels in the Outfield. Christopher Lloyd
Christopher
out there.
Lloyd bending the foul pole and shit.
Yeah, like knocking balls off like into players' hands and shit. Like, but like I think that my bold prediction for this game is 2 or 3 first half touchdowns for Gronkowski.
I could see that.
An explosion.
Gronk, he is fully rested. He didn't even get a ball thrown to him last week of the season, so he's had a couple weeks off, and he's always been a guy that's been good coming off a rest. And this is also a team that did need to play that last game. So he was out there if they needed him, but they didn't need him because they got the early lead against the Jets. But I just think there's no way they're going to be able to cover him. Just like there was no way they could cover Kelsey, and then Kelsey got hurt.
Yeah.
There's no way not on any stratosphere they're going to cover Gronkowski.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm assuming both of you are going New England and the points too.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what? They can't lay enough. They can't lay enough points.
And I'll be honest with you guys,
Yep.
FanDuel, if you're thinking FanDuel, I'm stacking Brady and Gronk in every one of my lineups. Don't care.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I don't care how much money I spent. Like, I might take Tevin Coleman because of it. I don't care.
I'm with you, Rod. I think Gronk can have a huge game. Sunday. Sunday's a nice little couple games. Good action here. First one, the 1:00 game. Jacksonville goes into Pittsburgh. I think this is a really interesting game, guys. I think it's really, really interesting. Because if you remember, they played really early on this year, and Jacksonville absolutely destroyed Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger threw what? How many picks, Mike? How many was it?
5.
5 friggin' picks.
2 for touchdowns.
Right. And I think this game is going to be a little different. I really do. But I think it's going to be close. I really think it's going to be close. I know Bortles is absolutely terrible. He's terrible, terrible, terrible. But for me, I think it's going to be closer than you actually think. The line is Pittsburgh -7. I think they possibly cover that, but for me, that's close. I don't know why that's really close, because I think Pittsburgh with a couple of weeks rest here, Antonio Brown coming back, they just have too many weapons on offense, and they're a very good playoff team, especially at Heinz Field. I have Pittsburgh in the game winning it. Do they cover? Now that I'm thinking, -7. Yeah, why not? I think they win by like 10. But for some reason, I think it's close. I think that's close for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, yeah, it's late touchdown makes it a 1-score game. 10 points is close, I guess. It's Jacksonville. It's Blake freaking Bortles.
That's why. I think that defense is pretty solid. So.
No, they are. But the last thing Roethlisberger's going to want to do, if there's ever a game where I think this guy's going to come out, to try to, to be, unless he tries to do too much, but he's going to try to be so good because he's so embarrassed by the last time they played. And he was like ready to retire after that game.
Yeah.
Like he was like, I don't think I have enough left. He actually said that after the game. And then he had a pretty good season. And even if Antonio Brown's not 100% healthy, if he's just a decoy out there, I still think they're going to win the game. And I think if you're a gambling man, you need to tease 6-point 2-team tease New England, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh just has to win, and New England has to win by 7.5. I put it in the freaking books.
Lock it up.
Lock it up. Throw it away.
Bet the farm. I like Pittsburgh to win the game. I don't think Jacksonville, because Bortles, you remember that regular season game, the 5-pick game. I remember that game well because I took Blake Bortles in FanDuel that week. And I didn't watch the game, and I wasn't really following, but I kept seeing the score go up and up and up and up and up for Jacksonville. And I'm like, man, Blake Bortles has got to be doing at least something. He did nothing. Nothing. He actually played like shit. So I don't think that's good enough in the playoffs. But, it will be close because Jacksonville's defense will keep them in the game. Pittsburgh is not going to blow the lid off this game. They'll win it at home. I mean, I think the New England Pittsburgh matchup is just it's destined to happen. But Jacksonville will make them sweat it. Bortles will probably fuck it up in the end. But give me Jacksonville getting 7. But the Steelers will win the game.
Okay.
Okay.
One more thing about this game. About the Jaguars last week? Did you see the video of after they scored that touchdown? Everyone in their booth is like, pumping.
Except for who?
Tommy C just did their writing notes like for the next play. Like he knows, or just taking notes because he knows it's not just one play that's going to win you that damn game. It's the whole 60 minutes.
No,
these guys are like air banging the air.
let the kids celebrate, and I'll just keep working.
Tommy C, baby.
And that's the only reason why I want that team to win. That's the only reason. It's because Tommy Coughlin.
Love it. The final game of the weekend, New Orleans Saints travel to Minnesota, the 4:40 game. I love this game too. It's probably going to be a fun one to watch as well. Drew Brees, what's he got? What's he got for us again? Is he going to throw it all over the place? It's going to be tough. Minnesota defense is good on all fronts. That defense is very good. They're fast. They're opportunistic. They're really tough to run against. That front four. It's gonna be a tough one, man. I really do think it's gonna be tough. But for some reason, guys, for some damn reason, I love Drew Brees right now. And if I'm gonna match Drew Brees or Case Keenum, I'm taking Drew Brees all day, every day. I know this is a tough defense, but I love Drew Brees. I love me some Drew Brees. And I can't trust Case Keenum in the playoffs right now. I know he had a great season, but has he had one playoff start, boys? One? No.
Probably not.
No, he doesn't. He's got 0.
0.
So it's going to be, noodle belly for him a little bit, I think. And you know what? You can't discredit this Saints defense too. It's a good defense. Had a good year. Probably the defensive Rookie of the Year, Lattimore. So I like New Orleans. Minnesota minus 4.5. I like New Orleans to win it outright, but I do think it's going to be a close one. Probably like a 3-4 point game, something like that. But I like New Orleans. Drew Brees, Sean Payton, all day.
Drew Brees. Saints by 1 million.
Wow.
Because he hates Minnesota.
Because the Vikings suck.
Well,
yeah. Yeah, you know what? I said the Saints are going to blow the Panthers out last week, and I think they could have. A couple plays here and there that kept the Panthers in the game. That McCaffrey touchdown, this, that, and the other thing. I think the Saints are like, besides New England, I can see the Saints blowing someone out. And why not Minnesota in their building, where they think they're going to have the Super Bowl in their own backyard? I think Drew Brees is going to piss all over that parade. You'll see Kamara and Ingram break through. I know Minnesota's defense is really, really good. But I think of all the bye teams, Minnesota's the least scary and the most apt to lay an egg at home. And I think they're the only team that's going to lay an egg at home. And New Orleans is going to win by 17 points.
Wow. You see, this is the game as a gambling man that I don't think I would touch because I mean, it's hard because it's only 4 games this week, so you want to touch every game, right? Oh, I think this game could go either way. I think it's a coin flip type of game. I think you say Minnesota could be the team coming off a bye that's going to, come out flat. I think that's Philly. I think Philly's the flat team. I think even Pittsburgh could be a little flat coming out in that game. I don't know. I think Minnesota has that bye. We're still that underdog team out here. No one thinks we're going to win. Because does anyone really think that Minnesota is going to win the Super Bowl? I mean, maybe, but I don't think anybody's picking them. So, I mean, I'm not touching this game, but if I had to guess, I would say very close. I say Minnesota wins, New Orleans covers.
I like the watch this weekend. I think the games are going to be good. Could be wrong, but I like some of these matchups. There's some good individual matchups all around. There's some good stories. So it's going to be really interesting, guys. And this is, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. The winners, they go to the AFC and the NFC championship. So this is, I usually love divisional round playoff games. I really do. Because like you said, Mike, you get your 1 and 2 seeds in there, and you get some of those hot teams. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You weed out the wild card shit.
Yeah.
Those crap teams, and you still get 4 games. You get the good team.
So this is like one of my favorite weekends. I love divisional rounds. Love it. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes, guys. I just want to really let's finish off football with a little coaching carousel because both of our teams are going through it. Rye, we still don't have a head coach, and probably won't for a while. And the reason being is, as you told us today, and I didn't even know about it because I was working and then I had to look it up, but it was reported that the defensive coordinator for the Patriots, Matt Patricia, is the leading candidate now to get the New York Football Giants head coaching position. And, right away, I wasn't thrilled when you said it. I was more on the Josh McDaniels. He's the offensive guy. He's got a little head coaching experience. The Giants wanted to go that route, somebody with head coaching experience or a guy that was a coordinator for a while. Patricia has been a coordinator for a while. He's been a lot. He's coached offense too, Mike. Did you know that?
Yeah, and actually McDaniels has coached defense.
Yeah.
I looked up both of them today, yeah.
It's interesting. And then I just kind of looked it up a little bit more. I said, I want to see a little bit more on what this guy Patricia brings to the table. They say he's an absolute genius, by the way. He went to school for like aeronautical engineering or something like that. Which is insane, something I can't even fathom in my life. But they say he's a genius. He's a bookworm. He's in there. He's doing his research, and he's there. He's there early, stays late, this and that. So I don't know. It's making me less uneasy about the decision.
Yeah, you're talking yourself into it.
I know. I really did. But you know what, Mike, when you said that, I was like, I don't know if I like that. I mean, I like that it's from the Patriots coaching tree, the Belichick tree. I do like that. So he's been around winning. He's been a part of 3 Super Bowls. So I like that. So, but maybe Mike, like you said, maybe he's more apt to be a head coach. He's just got that. He's got that head coaching moxie. I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah. Right? What do you feel about this, Rye?
Well, my initial thought was, great. We go get a guy from the best team in football, and we get the guy that's in charge of the worst thing about that team, which is their defense. That was my initial thought. And then I really delved into it and really started thinking about it. And I'm like, okay, you know what? They have nobody on that defense. They're in shambles. They plug in guys. They trade guys that are studs. Get draft picks. And this happens to them every year. Belichick is always changing stuff on Patricia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the team, and they came out crappy this year. Their defense sucked. And then, all of a sudden, that defense was pretty good. And then it was like, wow, maybe we should all pick up this team in fantasy because this defense is pretty good. And he really does things with not much talent on the defensive end of the ball, I'm starting to think. Like Mike, you said to me earlier today, their drafts have sucked.
Oh God!
And like you, Rye, I started talking myself into it. Now, if he could give a presser better than McAdoo, and he doesn't come in with slicked back hair and fucking sunglasses on, I'll be fucking okay with it.
Well, right? God, if he can't have a better presser than McAdoo, you got to give him a CAT scan.
Oh, he can't do it, I want him out.
My dog could give a better press conference than McAdoo. Just sit there and lick his balls.
I'm with you there, dude. He can't cut the castaway beard too. He's got to keep it.
Yeah,
keep the beard. It's kind of rugged. I think New Yorkers will like that. It's that rugged. I don't know.
Rugged. It's rugged.
Yeah, rugged. Sure, he can do
no nonsense.
He can do commercials with fucking Brett Favre for all I care.
Wrangler, rugged.
Rugged.
Whereas McDaniels is kind of this, like these little fucking nerdy, kind of pissant little shit to me. Like I don't know, like I never liked McDaniels. I don't think you guys want McDaniel. I don't know. Now Patricia, we don't know, and you won't know until he is a head coach. But he seems more like his balls have dropped. I don't know. He seems more like. Maybe rugged's the word.
Like a New York guy.
McDaniels seems like a pussy to me. I don't know. I mean, he yells at Tom Brady, so I guess not. But, I don't know. If I were a Giant fan, I don't know. I'd be getting a little more excited about Patricia. Now, what about this? I got to ask you guys this. And I heard today that he's kind of denied all these reports, but Nick Saban.
No.
Hang on.
Let's have this discussion. Go ahead.
Hang on. Yeah, real quick. Because it first came out that Nick Saban and Bruce Arians went on that fucking asshole Colin Cowherd show and said, there's one NFL job that Nick Saban would leave Alabama for. And it's a job he covets and he's wanted for a long time. And it's the New York Football Giants head coaching job. I read today it's Saban that it's not true. He's not going anywhere, which I would tend to believe. But do you think would Saban want to do that? I mean, we know he tried the NFL and it didn't work. I mean, this guy, I think, has just cemented his legacy as probably the greatest college coach of all time. Do you think him going back to the NFL, say he went back to the Giants and had like a shitty 2 years, I mean, what would that do to that guy's legacy?
Exactly why I don't want him. Because he can't be as good as he is in college. He's been ingrained in college for years now. He's had the best program in the world. He's a great recruiter. But the NFL's different.
Yeah.
And I just don't like the idea. I think he would have left a few years ago, even if he thought it was a good idea. I think he's afraid of it too.
Maybe he is. And listen, you got it. I brought Saban up really to tell you guys one stat, and you might have seen it. You talk about him being a good recruiter. So he got the LSU job in 2000. Okay. So his first recruiting class was 2001. And now it's year 2018, right? He left college for 2 years to coach the Dolphins. So whatever that is, 18 years minus the 2 for the NFL. So 16 years coaching in the SEC. Every single player that he's recruited and signed, every single player that he's signed with either LSU or Alabama, every single one that has stayed at least 3 years has won a national championship. Think about that.
That's an incredible stat.
Every single guy that stayed 3 years for Nick Saban from 2000 on has won at least one national fucking championship.
That's incredible.
I read that. I had to like go on and look it up and make sure it was right. To fact check it. I was floored. He can literally recruit a player and guarantee him a national championship. Most coaches can guarantee playing time and, I think you could be a all-conference player. No, Nick Saban says, here's a ring. This is going to be yours. It's absolutely insane. So, yeah, I think it would be stupid for him to leave. It doesn't look like he's going to be. But, the Giants, holy shit, why go out and chase guys? It seems like all these guys want this job. Just sit back in your recliner and let these fucking guys come to you.
Well, if this is true, then why the hell do we give Ben McAdoo the damn job?
Right. That's my point. Like, it's, the Giant head coaching job is like the most coveted position in the world, it sounds like.
Well, All right, let me say something about this because I've been waiting.
Go.
I'm not saying that I want him. I'm not saying that at all. What I look at when I see Nick Saban covets the New York Giants job, if it's true, how do you not get a little excited? And I'm gonna say why. The guy wins. That's all he does is win. And I know it's at the college level. Now he did fail as an NFL coach, but so did Pete Carroll first time around. Okay, went back to college, very successful. Went to the Seahawks, won a Super Bowl, has been in the playoffs many times. So he was able to turn it around. So why can't Saban do that? Why can't a guy like Saban do it? I'm sure there's other guys out there that have done the same thing. What about a guy like Jim Harbaugh?
Oh,
Okay. I don't like him. I'm just bringing up a point here.
yeah.
Good college coach at Stanford, left to come to the NFL. 49ers, brought them back to the glory days, basically. Now, didn't win a Super Bowl with them, but made them very competitive and, brought them to the playoffs a few times. And then he goes back to to college, of course. But why can't a guy like Saban get a second chance and be a good NFL coach? I mean, the guy knows how to win. I don't care if it's at the college level. He knows how to win.
You're right. I give you that. I think he.
But the thing that bothered me was when Dave says he just doesn't like him. That's not a reason. That's not a reason. I don't necessarily like him or dislike him. I really just don't care, to be honest with you. All I know is he wins. The guy wins. And that's all I care about.
And
you're going to
go
talk
ahead.
me into one now. I just talked myself into Patricia. I'm going to talk myself into fucking Saban now.
But he's not going to come. I think that was another ruse. I think that was another bullshit thing. There's been a lot of this crap lately. There's all this publicity crap just to have something to freaking talk about on ESPN and Fox Sports and all this stuff. But if it's true, how do you not kind of perk up a little bit? I do. I'm not saying I like the guy, but I know he wins football games. I know he wins football games and he knows how to do it. And I think a guy like that could deserve a second chance at the NFL. Because you never know.
All right, yeah, but you know what, Ryan? He would, if he wanted a second chance in the NFL, he'd get it.
Okay, but we don't know what's going through his head. We don't. But what does he have left to prove in college? Nothing.
Right,
That's true.
He's got
nothing.
Fails somewhere else.
Right,
if
but
he fails somewhere else, he feels that it would tarnish his legacy. That's what I think.
But we don't know that. You don't know what he's thinking. What if maybe he actually does want to coach in the NFL?
Well, I think he'd have a job. I think he'd have a job already.
Okay. But I mean, maybe this was the championship though. Maybe this was it.
Okay.
Now he's ready. But we don't know.
Maybe.
We don't know that.
I mean, look, if he showed up on the Giants' doorstep and said, "I want to be your coach," I think it would be done.
Yeah, it's hard to turn him down, right?
No,
you know what I mean?
But and I don't care. Like if I didn't like the guy, I don't care. I'd still want him. I hate Belichick, but would you want him as your head coach? Abso-freaking-lutely.
Well, they're very similar, those two guys. I mean,
right.
Saban.
I'd want him though. Right? You can't sit here and say that you wouldn't want Bill Belichick.
And Saban's one of the first Belichick disciples.
Exactly. He's from the tree.
He was
comes from the Parcell tree.
He was Belichick's defensive coordinator for 3 years in Cleveland on a very good team.
To say you don't like the guy and that's why you don't want him is silly. Is very silly. It's silly. I don't like Belichick at all. I think he's just a pompous douche who has no personality, can't talk to the media. But does he win football games? He does. Does he win Super Bowls? He does. Is he the best NFL head coach in history? Probably. It's crazy. I don't like him. But if he said, I want to be the coach of the Giants, I'm freaking jumping for joy because I know he's going to win us something.
Well, this is the thing, too. Like I said, you could talk me into Saban. You could talk me into Patricia. The reason why is because there's nobody out there that I'm like, I want that guy. There's none of that.
No, I know.
So I guess, yeah, you could talk me into him. My initial reaction, though, is like, no way. Because it's hard for a guy to be – he's been there how many years now, Mike? 16 years?
So,
Oh no, because he coached in Miami in the middle.
right. So he's been in Alabama since 2007.
All right, so it's 11 years. I just find it so hard to be 11 years at the same place. You uproot your family. You come, that's why I don't like the whole idea. I think about all that, personal bullshit. Like, you uproot your family, you come to New York. It's a pressure packed, it's the one of the best markets in all of sports, the best franchises in all of sports. And I think it's just very hard to come in here and win.
No doubt.
We do have the talent, but
Yeah.
it would just, I don't know. I don't love the idea, but you could talk me into it.
No, the only point I was just making that point. I think it's something you gotta think about, because if we're sitting here saying that our main goal as a fan is to watch our team win, that's really our main goal. I watch my team to win. I love my teams. I do. I love them, and I'll still love them if they lose. But I want them to win. We all want them to win. You don't want to sit there and be like, I hope they play, a great game. I hope it's a fun affair. And if they lose, that's okay. Not a big deal.
Win or lose, we're getting Carvel.
Yeah, exactly. Hell no. I want to win. I mean, you should know that, of all people. We get so freaking fired up for our teams, and when they lose, we get so pissed off.
No, it's true. Fucking Pizza Hut after the game, no matter what. I love it.
Here, put it this way. Sorry to cut you off, Nuns, but the last thing I'll say about it, if you're a Giant fan and Nick Saban says, I want nothing more in the world than to coach the New York Football Giants, are you going to go, no, give me Matt Patricia?
No, I'm taking Saban. You're right.
Right. I was going to say, Mike, that's funny. I was about to say something to that effect.
Or McDaniels. Put in anybody. I don't think you can put in anybody.
Words.
You want Nick Saban or you want Steve Wilkes? I mean, listen, Steve Wilkes may be a good coach, but if it's Nick Saban, I mean, come on. I will say, say, Mike, really quick. Patricia, I heard if he becomes the head coach of the Giants, he possibly will bring over as the offensive coordinator the OC of the Alabama Crimson Tide, because apparently they have some ties.
Is that
the bowler or something like that?
Okay, they've had a lot. They've had quite a circus with that.
Yeah, the current offensive coordinator of Alabama.
Okay,
I think it's like the bowler or something like that.
The
Joe Davola.
Oh, I've heard that name.
Crazy Joe Davola.
Crazy Joe Davola.
Crazy Joe.
Another Seinfeld reference. Cha-ching.
Ding ding.
Did you see that there was like an article the other day about a whale saving a marine biologist?
Oh my God.
It's a titleist.
And the thing after was, I thought it went the other way around. And it showed a picture of Costanza with the Titleist in his hand.
Is anyone a marine biologist?
A hole in one?
Yeah, that I'm telling you, that was great, dude.
It was like the waves were angry. The sea was angry that day, my friends. Like an old man trying to turn soup at a deli.
Yeah, Mike, it said, all right, listen, this is the article I read. It said, Patricia is too good of a fit and could bring an offensive coordinator to address those needs. Perhaps Alabama's Brian DeBole, 42 years old, who overlapped with Patricia for 7 seasons in New England.
Okay.
So he's been another guy that's come from Belichick.
Okay.
And you know what? Listen, here's another thing, Mike. We talked about the new approach to hiring coaches, the young way, right? Patricia's 43.
Yep.
And this guy's 42.
There you go. Injected youth.
And to be honest with you,
youth.
I kind of would like him to be the coach because I can call him Matt Pat then. Matt Pat.
It's got a nice ring to it.
It does, Matt Pat.
As long as he keeps the beard. But you'd think it would be a different look for him. He can't rock a backwards hat and a pencil as the head coach of a team.
As long as he doesn't do the Pat Riley right?
Oh, fuck no.
Now listen, because you're not going to see that right away. McAdoo pulled the wool over everyone's eyes. Remember how he came in all rough haircut and a suit that was too fucking big for him, And he tricked all of us. He
Dude,
tricked
had a
all of
rough
us.
haircut, dude, he had the haircut I had in second grade with the freaking lasers behind me for my school picture.
My mom wouldn't let me have the lasers. I had to get the fucking library. Thanks, Mom. But he fooled us all.
Graffiti at one point. Brick wall and graffiti.
Love it. No.
Yo, that picture that I have the graffiti behind me, I had suspenders on. Sick.
Get out of here.
Thanks, Ma. I think I lost my front teeth on that picture too. Looked good.
Parents, what are we doing? Well, maybe that's why we're so banged up. They made us wear suspenders and get our school pictures in front of stupid backgrounds.
All right, Mike. Packers. What news you got here?
Real quick, because I don't have much to be angry about.
Okay.
Which I know is kind of disappointing and weird. But I like every single thing they've done. I mentioned extending Devontae Adams, extending Corey Linsley, now firing Dom Capers, letting go Ted Thompson. I wasn't a huge fan of, but the new GM, Gutekunst, who was a Thompson guy. He's been a scout for the Packers forever. Young guy in his early 40s, but has literally worked in the scouting department for 20 plus years. Gutekunst, in German, literally translates to man with good skills. So pretty much a lock to be the best GM of all time. And I kind of like his philosophy. We're still going to be a draft and develop team, but that's kind of our foundation. You can't really change that. It's been so ingrained in this organization for a long time. But the difference with him, I think he's going to be a bit more active in free agency, because I think what really hurt Thompson in the last few years is draft and develop is all well and good, and I'm a fan of it. It keeps your team young. It keeps your salary cap healthy. But when guys get hurt and you have the draft and no developed guys behind them, the young, wet behind the ears, green players, mainly in the secondary, thrown in there and having to play huge minutes and huge games, it eventually bites you in the ass. You need some sort of veteran depth at a lot of important positions, and I think he understands that. And I think he said something to the effect of, in free agency, we're not going to start spending wildly, but we're going to be very prepared with each situation and free agent that we're not afraid to pull the trigger. And I like the way he put that, because I agree with it. He's got to do his due diligence, and then we're not going to be afraid to spend a little money, not for the splashy free agent, but for the solid depth player, because injuries happen, and you need a better solution than what we've had the last few years. Now, the real exciting one, Capers out. I, along with a million Packer fans, wanted Vic Fangio, but we get Mike Pettin, who the more I look at and think about, the more excited I'm getting about it. This guy has coached a good defense every single place he's been. He was Rex Ryan's defensive coordinator when the Jets had those dominant defenses. He was the linebacker coach for the Ravens in their heyday. And hell, yeah, he was a head coach for the Browns for 2 years. He went 10-22. I mean, he should be in the fucking Hall of Fame for doing that in Cleveland. Holy cow.
That's a good point.
Hugh Jackson has won, half a game in like 6 years?
Yeah.
Never won a game on a Sunday.
10-22. That's like Saban levels. When you adjust it with the Cleveland coefficient. So I really like this guy. He coaches a 3-4. He loves to play man, plays a lot of line games up front, which I think bodes well for guys like Mike Daniels, Kenny Clark, Dean Lowry, or our defensive linemen, who it's our strongest group of the defense. I think they can shine with this guy. I think the corners can finally get out of their heads with the complicated zone schemes, zone blitz bullshit. Too much shit to worry about. Straightforward, aggressive. I'm very, very excited about it. Joe Philbin's back as the offensive coordinator. Coach Joe should have never left. What an easy transition that's going to be, coming right back in with the same quarterback, the same offensive style, the same head coach. So I'm giddy right now. I want football to. I want the Super Bowl to come and go, and I want training camp to open, and I want to get going again as soon as possible.
All right, calm down there. No, I'm joking.
No, okay, I'm calm.
But no, you're right. You're right. It's exciting. That's good. Before we get to our fun little morsel, really quick, Ryan, I mentioned before the Mets reached an agreement with Jay Bruce, 3 years, $39 million. Your thoughts?
I'm shocked about it.
I love it.
It was a move that I thought they were going to make when they traded him last year. It makes that trade even better, even though I forgot who we get. I forgot who we.
A reliever.
Who is it?
Some reliever. I can't remember his name.
Right. Yeah, no, it was a reliever, Rom or something. I don't know. He might have come from another trade, but whatever. Either way now, you got that guy for free. And you saved money from last year, and now you sign him to a pretty reasonable deal, 3 years, 39. And you know my philosophy on 3-year deals.
You love it.
I love 3-year deals because if the guy does what he's supposed to do his first year, that's great. You get him that first year. If he happens to struggle the second year, you only have him for one more year after that, and then it's an expiring contract. It's a contract that's coming off the books at the end of the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully he's good all 3 years. And he was really good for us. He was a good Met. He's a good clubhouse guy. He's a left-handed power bat. And it makes the offense, I mean, it should be the same as last year, I guess, but it makes it better than what we had yesterday. It's an upgrade.
Correct. Absolutely correct. I'm with you. I like the deal. Shores up that outfield now. Don't need to do anything else to it. They're going to have to mix and match a little bit. I know it's kind of sucks. We don't really still don't have a center fielder. So I don't know. I guess that leaves. I heard they were looking at Lorenzo Cain a couple days ago. So that's probably out of the mix now.
Yeah, I would say that the only thing is here is that we're probably done.
Yeah, with everything. Now they need a second baseman, dude.
Right, and you know who just demanded a trade or said he would like to be traded is Starlin Castro.
I know.
He's done it in New York. I would take him. I would take him in a second.
Bruno Mars, Mike?
Oh, you'd love that guy on your team. I like Starlin Castro a lot.
One more thing about Bruce, though. 3 years, 39. If you saw a couple weeks ago, I think it was Carlos Santana coming over from that same team, signed with the Phillies?
Yeah.
3 years, 60.
I was going to say, 3 for 39 is nothing.
No, that's a bargain.
13 mil a year? For Jay Bruce?
You have to sign it up, right?
And he's only, what, 30?
Middle relief pitchers are getting $13 million a year.
Right.
It just shows that he really wanted to be back in New York and on the Mets, dude. It really did.
Good for him. You know what?
Because he could have gotten a better offer.
Maybe he did.
I would think.
Maybe he did. I don't know. We don't know.
I don't know. It's been a weird offseason. Weird.
The one thing that surprises me is that if the Mets were going to get him, I thought it was going to be in a month from now. Not now.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought it would be end of January, right before pitchers and catchers or right when they're coming in, because I thought they were going to wait until see who goes off the market. And the fact that a lot of guys are still in the market, maybe the Mets can swoop in there and get another guy. Maybe
it's been it hasn't been a hot stove. It's been a very cool stove.
Yeah, and this morning I hear Garrett Cole's going to the Astros, and then 2 hours later, no, he's not.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I saw a cold Astros, so I opened up the story and it said all but done. I said, well, you never know. Sure enough.
2 hours later, he's not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been weird. There's a lot of big guys still out there. It's been very stale last couple weeks.
Wait, one more thing too. 3 years, 39 for Jay Bruce, or 10 years, 100 million for John Gruden.
Gruden.
Come on. That's a ridiculous contract.
Hey, that's a lot of money, man. Let me tell you, that's a lot of money.
More guaranteed money than any player in football.
Spider 2Y banana, man. I love that play.
Yeah, I just wanted to, throw that out there, right? It's a good day for the Mets, I guess. It's a win.
Dude, I'm smiling about the Mets. I didn't think that was happening this month.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it, boys. Let's get to this fun little thing that Mike brought to the table.
I'm laughing
Funny
already.
FanDuel faces. And I'm kind of laughing already. And Mike, we found some golf, didn't we? Open up your FanDuel, boys.
What a gem we found.
Start us off
with the PGA, because we're kind of handcuffed a little, and the NFL's dwindling down. So obviously, you open up an NFL contest, and we're not at 32 teams anymore, obviously. So we're a little limited. Basketball and hockey, depending on what day you open it up, obviously depends on the slate and the schedule. You may not get everybody, but golf, it's the whole tour, baby, and no one can hide. And some of these guys are absolute gems. I'm gonna start.
Let's do one, and one. Let's do one, then I'll do one.
I'll start with the guy. Now, obviously, there's no positions, but if you scroll down to, he is 7,300. I'm gonna play along here.
73, you said?
Yep. His name is Brett Stegmeyer. Okay. And this guy looks like he just got finished, crying for hours. Look at this guy. He's got bloodshot eyes. He's trying to, force a smile in there. It looks like he just got into a big blowout with his girlfriend or his wife. And right at the end of the fight, she said she digged him so hard. Something that she wasn't supposed to bring up. And he just started bawling. And then all right, it's time to take your FanDuel picture, Mr. Stagmeyer. And he just fucking slides in there. You okay, buddy? Yeah, I'm fine. Snap.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one. All right, scroll down a little bit. The bare minimum, 7th boys. Okay, there's a guy named Greg Chalmers. Dude, I'm telling you, it's got the smallest little face with the hugest forehead. Kind of looks a little like sloth. And his hair's a little messy. Oh, I like Greg Chalmers. That's my guy.
I like that. It's good.
Well, I'm looking here. I didn't have one until we came on now, and I'm looking at a few guys. And there's one guy down at the 7,000 area, too, that looks like he could be like a villain in Despicable Me or something. Like Omar Aresti.
He's got an orange shirt on, right?
Yeah. And then my other thing, it's not a FanDuel funny face. We'll only do the one today. But if you go all the way down to the bottom, 3 from the bottom, a fantastic name. Tom Lovelady.
Lovelady.
Oh, you stole my name.
Oh, did I really? You had that one?
Yeah, I had 2 funny names. I threw in some funny names in there.
What's your other funny one?
Well, now that you're at the funny names, just scroll a couple up. Steve Wheatcroft.
That's what I was going to say.
I love Lovelady, though.
Oh, my God.
Do you have any more, Mike? I had one more.
I have one more. He's 8,100. There's a guy I've heard of. Harris English, which is a great name, too. Looks shit-faced in his picture. Holy shit. That's like a mugshot.
He does.
What the fuck, dude? And you read a little about him. He's off the tee, 191st in driving accuracy last year. Yeah, because you're probably fucking hammered. Can't see straight. Look at this guy.
Oh my God, that's great. One more, just more for his hair. It was just like an alarm. I looked at his hair and I'm like, it looks like something. If you just scroll down a couple down, 8,000. Guy's name is Kelly Kraft. Freaking hair. He's got like Dwight Schrute hair.
It looks like a wig. It looks like a hairpiece.
Oh my God, this is great.
How about two below him, Aaron Baddeley? Looks like a 43-year-old divorced guy who's trying to be cool again. You know what I mean? Like
Aaron Baddeley.
Well, how about the guy at 9,500? We all know this guy. And he could have played Babe Ruth and freaking Babe. William McGirt.
William Dirt McGirt.
Hey guys, we had Love Lady. We also have Jamie Love Mark.
Love Mark.
I love Jamie. Love Mark will be in my lineup this weekend.
Okay, I'm putting him in then too. Oh man, that's great.
Yeah.
And then we always have at 10,500, Zach Johnson or Joaquin Phoenix.
Clean cut Joaquin there.
Oh God, Joaquin.
Some of these guys. Oh my God.
Fun. It's a good time.
Let's save some.
I can't believe Harris English. He looks obliterated.
He's toast.
He looks toasted.
Toasty.
Oh God.
Good stuff. We'll we'll do some more, guys, next week. We'll do some more funny faces. Hopefully we get into the hockey. Mike, you said the hockey's hilarious.
Some of those guys are gems.
Yeah, we'll get into the hockey. Rye, there's some funny basketball guys too.
Yeah, there are. There's some good ones.
So we'll find a good day once we pot again next week. We'll find a good lineup. Maybe we'll mix and match. Somebody will do a hockey, somebody will do a basketball, and so on and so forth. Rye, you got any last words before we head out?
I'm getting, I'm talking myself into all these different coaches. The Mets got Jay Bruce. It's kind of exciting. Let's go. And Celtics playing at 3:00 tomorrow in fucking London. Let's go, baby.
Let's go. What about you, Mike?
Well, for all the football diehards out there, enjoy this weekend because it's the last really, really good one. It's the last normal feeling weekend of football before championship weekend and then the Super Bowl, and then it's over. So
yeah,
enjoy it.
And good luck on FanDuel, DraftKings, guys. There's some really high price tournaments in there if you want to win some big money. Throw your money away, throw your money out there. Get some good lineups in. Rye, have Brady and Gronk stacked up.
100%.
100%. But we'll be back next week for another podcast. Enjoy the weekend of football and other sports alike. And good luck if you're playing a little golf, FanDuel, like me and Rye are. Maybe we'll put a funny face in there.
Just for shits.
Just for shits and giggles. All right, everyone. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you next week. Yeah, Mike, I didn't even realize.